Hello Instagram, hello again, welcome back to the live stream. I'm your National Ambassador, Matt Bailey from the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. The reason I'm doing a bit of a midday stream today is actually to talk about something which was a follow-on from last night's stream that I thought some people might find interesting, you might not. Miss Rex, good to see you, Miss Rex. Tuning in all the way from the United States. Diana Patrice, good to see you. Yeah, look, what I wanted to touch on this afternoon, it's actually just gone afternoon, it's 12:04 p.m. right now as I'm broadcasting. Whiskysaurus, Lee Wallace, thank you, Miss Rex, always good to see you. So what I want to touch on was actually a follow-on from last night's discussion, which was I was talking about a rum that I was enjoying, which was R11.6. And apologies for the label being around the wrong way, broadcasting from the front camera a bit easier this afternoon. R11.6, it was called Just Add Sunshine. It was a 7-year-old Jamaican rum. Now, that was really enjoyable, and I had a dram of that last night. What I didn't do, however, at the end of the night, I only had the one dram last night. What I didn't do, however, was I didn't actually wash my glass at the end of it. So there's the glass I was literally using last night. You can see it is not clean. That is, I'll show you. There you go. Inside view right there, so you can see. This was the rum glass. It's our single cask spirits glass that's designed for these kind of spirits rather than whiskey. The reason why I'm showing you this is because I'm going to smell this empty glass. Yes, Mr. X, you're ahead of the curve here. I don't encourage day drinking. I don't drink during the day. Very rarely drink during the day. It has to be a sort of a Sunday afternoon at the pub kind of thing. But we don't have that luxury at the moment with all the pubs and clubs and bars and everything shut down, including all the gyms and everything's closed at the moment. So I don't have, even now it's even harder to. But the only time I'd ever day drink would be sort of like on a Sunday afternoon with some mates at a pub. But other than that, that's infrequent at best. But I do encourage it. Poorly edited, good to see you, mate. Basic Chocolate's good to see you. So what this is the glass from last night. Now, last night I was enjoying a single cask rum. I was in the mood for a rum. I was in the mood for a very estery, Jamaican-y kind of rum, which is what I found. Bits and bobs was hiding around in my stash. That was an R11.6. Just Add Sunshine, a Jamaican Caribbean rum from distillery R11. I won't tell you what that is, but it rhymes with scorthy work. Anyway, so I didn't clean my glass. It was the topic I'm talking about just now is that I didn't clean the whiskey glass, the spirits glass at the end of it. I encourage you all to try this. Leave your dirty glass, your used glass, just on the side of the sink and don't wash it. And then come back to it in the morning after you've had a dram or two and just nose it. It's actually unbelievable. It's very much like what you'd expect, but at the same time, it's different. What's happened is even just the slightest little tiniest bit of like remnants of spirit in the glass have been left in there for a fair bit longer than you'd normally leave anything in there for like whatever, 8 hours, however long you slept or whatever. So if you come back to it, I usually sleep like 6.5, 7 hours most nights. Some people I know sleep 9, 10 hours. It doesn't matter how long you leave it. Just leave an unclean glass on the side of the sink of a dram you've had the night before. Come back the next morning, or in this case at 12:07 p.m, and have a nose of that. See what's happened to it. But what's happened is there's a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of spirit in there. You probably can't see it. It's not even going to drip out. That's how small it is. But it's oxidized to the point of ridiculousness. It's oxidized so much that there's nothing left in the glass, really. Calby says, have an uncleaned 33 Thigh Slapper from last night. Smells amazing still. You know what? I actually had a taste of that 33.138 just on Saturday afternoon. Yeah, Saturday afternoon. So good. So damn good. I went for a big motorbike ride on Saturday morning. And then I came back on Saturday afternoon. The rest of the afternoon was mine. I just poured myself a 33.138 thigh slapping dram. Unbelievable whiskey. I tasted it the first time like a month and a half ago, well before we released it, and I thought, oh, I was very good. I was very impressed with it, but I don't think my palate was in the right space for it. And it wasn't until that Saturday afternoon last week that I tasted it properly and went, wow, that is an unbelievable cask, and I'm still kicking myself. Anyway, Whiskey Man Sam, good to see you, mate. JMS Vintech Club. Opened it on our virtual tasting last night. I think I've had it every night since, gosh. It's not gonna, you can drink it every night, Calby, but it's not going to last very long if you do that. What I recommend is, maybe get halfway or something and then tuck it aside for maybe a month or two. It's just, I love doing that. I love doing that to bottles that I own. Look at this bottle. This exact bottle here is pretty much on the halfway mark. And it's like, you come back to it and it's oxidized a bit more. And oxidization in spirits is not a bad thing. I've talked about this before, but I'll talk about it again in more detail in one of my nightly streams. Good to see you, man. Midday jams to get me through spreadsheets. Yes, spreadsheets. We all love, you know what, there's the unglamorous part of being a whiskey ambassador, and that's called spreadsheets, reports, and expense claims. So yeah, look, this is what I like doing is if I leave half a bottle kicking around in the office for a little bit, it changes for the better most of the time. The only times where whiskey I find doesn't improve with a tiny bit of oxidization is when it's already quite low proof and it's quite young. So it's like, what I mean by that is if you find like an 8 or 10 or 12-year-old whiskey that's 40% ABV, a modern whiskey at 40% ABV, oxidization normally just leaves it tasting a bit flat, a bit sort of like lifeless. I find you do need a bit of cask strength for it to hold up, hold its strength, hold its power, hold its flavour, hold its aromas. Yeah. Brand ambassador's worst nightmare. Tell me about it. I'm still convinced that our accountant actually doesn't like me very much, but that's okay. So yeah, and hey Matt, what's you in a biomedical lecture? Sorry, yes. That sounds heavy. You can have me on the side because the biomedical stuff sounds a little bit more important than what I'm talking about. Same experience here, mate. Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. You put it aside. Tim McGuigan. Tim, hope you're well, mate. Hope you're not too affected by all this. So yeah, this is it's really good to just do that. Put a glass aside from you had last night. Have a nose, and let me. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this because it's kind of like, you can even see it just then. You can just see it. I'll try and hold that up. There you go. It's just a tiny. So you can see how much is in that glass. Not even a full drop. Just enough to have a nose. And that honestly smells like earthy, like Jamaican marble cake, I'm going to call it. Like, there's a sweetness still in there, but it's become much more savoury, much more earthy. Like ground up dirt, fresh potting soil. Could be the fact that I'm outside as well. I'm out on the balcony, I'm in my usual office here. I'm out the back of the office, which is great. Whiskey's my jam joined. Just a quick stream, just a quick midday stream here. Miss Rex, thank you so much for tuning in. It's not often you get to be on this in the same time zone as our friends over in the US branch. So really appreciate that. Marlia Barry joined. Not a great time to join Barry, not a great time to join Whiskey is my jam. I'm just finishing up. But you can watch us in our stories, of course, if you want to catch up on what we're just talking about. Talking about oxidization and smelling a glass the next morning. It's a tiny little thing. It's the little things that count, though. So I'll see you all later on tonight. Usual stream time, I think, tonight. I'll put that up. We might go a little bit earlier tonight, actually. We might go for a 7 o'clock stream. So if that doesn't throw anyone out too much, I'd appreciate that. But otherwise, I'll see you at maybe 7 o'clock, maybe 8 o'clock. I'll put it in our stories. Sorry, I'm not that organised today. I'll see you later on. Cheers.